Vestigantustahe. It is I. The core of your being, the truth of your nature, coming through, seemingly through a channel. Perceptions with the mind, with the intellect, are based on the past. So you must find the words, the definitions, the phrases that feel comfortable to you so that you may release the stress of not having identification, so that you may be present. So you name this as you wish for now, until you feel it for yourself. Then you know in that moment that you do not need words. You do not need definitions. You do not need categories, long explanations from the linear thinking mind. You will no longer require this because you will feel it and be it directly. This is the work that we do. This is our passion. This is a group consciousness gathered in love, gathered with the intention of love now and always. We are here to offer the presence so that you may reorient once again to your true north, your true identity. Your compass is within. It does require some recalibrating, for you have been oriented to a dream, an outer world story created for the purpose of inviting you into a sense of separateness, a sense of value that is based only upon that system or systems, and how you may contribute to that system or systems. This is what you have referred to as life on planet Earth. We have said many, many times through these messages that this is not your whole identity. This is but a fragment of your identity and purpose. You are in a crossroads in time whereby you may awaken and rediscover the frequency that you are, and how you may contribute in these times, in these glorious times on earth, with the natural world. You have been conditioned to believe that this is nonsense. You may continue to defer to that conditioning. That is your right, your choice, and nothing from this direction will stop you or try to change your mind, for that is something that we cannot do. This changing of the mind is actually a release of the deference to mind and the willingness to open the spaces within to remember your grace, to re-identify with the grace that you are. Now, to the linear mind, this sounds like mumbo-jumbo New Age nonsense. We are very clear about how this sounds to the linear mind. But we are not speaking to the linear mind. We are simply providing words to invite, to reintroduce your whole new way, new for now at this timing, your way of sensing that is within you, within your capacities. This and more is available to you. It is simply the reorientation to it that initiates the pathway to your rediscovery of all that you are connected to, not only in your power, in your gifts, but in your ability to connect with others and to co-create with others, to build, create an environment, a world that is representative of who you are individually and collectively. This deference to the outer world structures and systems that you have been oriented to is, let us say, a kind of magic that is well known throughout this universe. This is something that developed as an inspiration from those who chose to experiment and watch and collect data and a variety of other reasons to see what kind of realities could be created from harvesting humanity, harvesting their value, their infinite value. Well, they do not have access to your infinite value. Only you have access to that. But there are groups, factions, that are still very, very much interested in redesigning human consciousness. Now, this may be presented in ways that are exciting or interesting, or it sounds like you will become more powerful and more intelligent with these new technologies. We have spoken of artificial intelligence in the past, and transhuman technologies we have touched upon. This is not something that we have the vocabulary to pursue in great detail. We speak to the heart of the matter on all things. This is who we are, this is who you are. So we speak to these aspects of you, to these sensory abilities of yours to feel the messages and understand that what we are saying is you are infinite beings with infinite capacities, and you have been conditioned to forget this. So, for many of you, you have awakened to this, you have remembered this, but you are confused about how to proceed with life on earth, simply because you are straddling both worlds, and because your money system keeps you very much entrenched, a brilliant design, we might add, keeps you completely entrenched in the world as you have been taught to believe it is, in the limited world, in the limited spectrum of consciousness. Now, it is understood that it is frightening to release oneself, to say, no more, I am not a part of this. I am now the infinite being that I am, expressed out into my community and my world. And you wonder how you will survive. This is understood, that this is a deep core fear in all of humanity. For this is one of the deepest trenches, one of the deepest snags that keeps you perpetuating this world. There is no one way through this, but we can say that the one way that you may transcend this is through re-identifying with your core, with this grace, on a sensory feeling level. This will reorient you to know the truth of who you are, so that you may be set free from these systems, these deep entrenchments in a design that was quite purposeful in harvesting your energy. Now, we understand that when some humans hear this message, there may be dismissal, outright dismissal, or there may be complete fear and terror of what this is, and anger and rage. And there is the movement through the 5 stages of grief, as it should be. And there is no set program or timeline for you to move through this, but we are saying that once you feel these energies again, you will get a jump start on re-identifying and reorienting to your true nature and your source, your infinite source that always provides for you. Now, sometimes it may appear to come directly from the world. It might appear to come from a job in this case. But understand that once you are oriented to your natural frequency, or you are in the process of and have this strong intention, you will be guided to those kinds of jobs or sources of sustenance. Let us reframe. Practice using the word sustenance instead of money. This is part of the reorientation. The words that you use, the language. Your sustenance comes directly from infinite source. And all that you need or require is then matched in your outer world through resonance. This is how you create. There have been many types of manifestation techniques shared in the past with humanity that were more oriented to the world and worldly things. So it was manifesting within the container or the spectrum of consciousness that you have been within. Understand that we are speaking of expanding far beyond this limited spectrum and moving into your natural state. And these are words to most of you that you cannot relate to. And we understand this, but we also continue to return you to your feeling nature, for this is where the information and the understanding comes. This is the only way for humanity to wake up and fully remember who you are, is engaging your feeling nature again. Now, this means that there is a need for trauma, release, and healing, for this is what blocks you from expanding beyond this limited spectrum of consciousness. This does not need to take a long time. There are practices, there are approaches to healing trauma very quickly. And this was given and brought through in an expanded way to several individuals who then developed these practices of what they now refer to as EMDR or brain spotting. There are others now that are in the works and will be coming out into your collective for your use, for your practice. There is energy healing now that is being done by those who have intentionally come here to be a part of this great healing and restoration of human consciousness. This translator here is one of them. She has dismissed this ability in the past and has decided that it was something that would not be accepted from her community in the ways that she needs to present. Do you see? Her inspiration is through sound and energy and some touch in this way. But healing can occur with your intention, whether it is one-on-one or in groups, which we are very excited and passionate about initiating. There has been a waiting for decades for this individual to present in this way. It is very important to her and to this group consciousness that we insert ourselves and our work. While we may have hinted of it in the past, it has never fully manifested until it now will be manifesting. There is fear on the part of the translator that the sounds that she makes will be uncomfortable to the people present. Indeed, it may be very uncomfortable, for it is sounds that you have put in the category of your sexuality. Ecstasy has nothing to do with human sexuality, with the distortion of this divine feminine grace that is embodied. This is what must be ignited within you so that you may feel your connectivity with your infinite source. And there is definitely an adjustment in your bodies to this grand frequency of love. You have been contracted for so long. You have been living and adapting to extreme limitation. This no longer needs to be so, as we have stated years and years ago in this way. That you are choosing now between continuing to contract, for that is what you will have to do. You will continue to contract if your orientation, if your compass is aligned with what you have been indoctrinated within. Does this make sense? The other choice is for expansion, for full remembrance. Even though it is frightening to die, to have a death, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, in order to let go of the old ideas. For this is what occurs in physical death. You simply leave the physical body and you leave the stories and the identification with that person that you were, with what you formed in a persona to interface with the limiting world. That is released. And then you are free energetically to be that grace that you are and to commune with all that are connected to you through these frequencies, through this love, including your source creator. You have been taught that you are distant from this God. And that was by design. You are not distant from your creator. You are recalling what your creator feels like so that you may reaccess this identification with love and thereby share it in your world, in your current bodies, reorient and re-identify with love and change your world in ways that you cannot even imagine in the limited spectrum thinking that you have been identified with in the past. You will never find this truth in the intellect and words. You may have very interesting and profound conversations about what is possible, and perhaps it is this, and perhaps it is that. I wonder, well, my theory is this. No. That theory is incorrect because you are not including this, this, and this. Well, we are saying to be still for a moment, or two, or three, or four, and simply feel it. Let it fill your body. Let it shift you. Let it heal the wounds and the traumas so that you may be free. Free from having to try and figure it out. But again, you may choose this. You may choose to continue to try and figure things out, but understand that you will be contracting further if you continue to only serve this aspect of your consciousness that keeps you connected to this reality. And this reality is currently being funneled into something much more limiting. And you do not have to go there. You may choose to remember who you are. By being willing to be innocent and honest about what you're feeling right now. For this is the doorway. This is the doorway to your whole consciousness. You don't know how this goes. Whether you're a scientist or a theologian or just an average, everyday human trying to survive in this world, in this reality, simply stop and acknowledge, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired of trying to figure it out. Perhaps there is a different way to access what I know is true deep within my being, but I can't seem to create it in my outer world or find it in my outer world, except for just maybe a few glimpses here and there, whether it's on the internet or in your everyday life. It will always just be glimpses until you turn in the direction of your expansion and you are willing to be completely innocent and honest, thereby creating an opening so that this love may find you. It cannot connect with just a fragment of your consciousness. It wants to connect with what is real about you and what is true about you right where you are. As ugly as you might think this state of being is that you're in, and that you have been so accustomed to presenting a happy, glad, confident, accomplished face to the world, all of this must be released so that you may rediscover at your very core who you are. It is not something radically different from what you know, for you do know who you are. You have simply been in practice of covering that over so that you may continue to survive in this reality and have, quote, value in this current system. It's time to rediscover your value in the infinite. For it is so grand that you cannot comprehend it with this small thinking mind. You must feel it. We are here to help you, to support you in reorienting to what is true. And it is a vibrational experience. And it is a process. is a practice. Even though you have forgotten, perhaps, who you truly are, we have not forgotten. We have held this for you. In fact, you could say that this voice is this aspect of you that we have been holding. And we do this in joy and in love. We celebrate you. And we welcome you home. Thank you for your attention. Peace and good day.